I have had a change of direction. We are not going to be continuing on in Matthew. If there's a certain particular part of Matthew you would like to hear, absolutely let me know and we'll talk about it. But I decided to go over some Old Testament stuff because Old Testament stuff is awesome.
Break everything.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah, that's break.
Okay, so here's the story. Here's the deal. Kids, here's the deal. We never even went through Exodus, did we?
I
We-
don't know.
Chris, anger me?
No, it's the police officers here to get
Okay,
it.
sit down, please. Sit down, please.
I was trying to do something.
So in Exodus, Moses had all the Israelites, and they numbered in the millions, okay? And they were all slaves of Egypt. And then God brought forth plagues and smited all the firstborn of Egypt. And they all the children died. All the firstborn children died. And then God let the Israelites go. When what they were asking for was 3 days, God gave them 40 years in the desert. But they were free. They were free. And so all the Israelites are hanging outside of this kingdom called Moab, and they're just hanging out. And it is really, let me tell you, if you had a kingdom and all of a sudden there were millions of people hanging outside your kingdom, it would make you a little nervous. Okay?
Come in.
They're coming to kill me.
Come
They
in.
want to take over. Okay? And this is Moab. These are Moabites. These are not, hey kids. Okay? These are Moabites. These are not Israelites. They worship other gods.
Ew, gross, no.
And so Balaam, he is a prophet. All right, I'm going to start a little bit before where I want to start because you want to have context. Okay, so y'all listen. Moses sent a spy to Jazer, and they took its villages and drove out the Amorites who were there. All right, so Moses, here he is doing his thing. All right, so he sent some spies into Jazer and drove out the Amorites, and they took over their territory. These are the Israelites running people out. Okay, they turned and went up by the way of Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle of Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not fear him, because into your hand I have given him and all his people and his land, and you will do to him as you did in Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon." So they killed him and his sons and all his people until there was not a survivor left to him alive, and then they possessed his land. These are the Israelites. These are Moses' people. Okay? And he just slaughtered everybody in town, in the whole kingdom. Just slaughtered them all. Okay? So, these are the 2 million people hanging outside of the kingdom. All right? That's what would be in this king's head. So, then the children of Israel set out and camped in the plains of Moab on the other side of the Jordan from Jericho. Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was very afraid of the people because there were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. Okay? Again, here's this king, and he's worried. He is worried for his kingdom. Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now this company will lick up all that are around us, and as the ox licks up the grass of the field." And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messages to Balaam, the son of Beor, at Pethor, which is by the Euphrates in the land of the sons of his people, to call him, saying, "A people went out from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth, and they dwell next to me. And now, please come to curse these people for me, because they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I will prevail, and we will defeat them. And I will drive them out of the land, because I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he who you curse is cursed." So, hey, this Balaam guy, yeah, he's a pretty good prophet, right? When he says, a blessing, people are blessed, and when he says a curse, people are cursed, right? But let's get him. Let's get him over here, and we'll have him curse these people, and then we can fight them and we'll win because they'll be cursed, right?
No.
Like, that's not how it works.
No.
Is it? How does it work? Well, but he's a prophet. If he says it, it's going to happen, right? Okay, let's keep going. The elders of Moab and the elders of Midian went with the divination payment in their hand, and they came to speak to Balaam and spoke to him the words of Balak. Okay, so the elders come, and they've got the divination payment in their hands. So they brought money. Hey, we need you to come do a blessing or a curse or whatever. So we brought some money if you're interested, and we can just take you back to the kingdom, and you do your thing, and it'll be good. And God came to Balaam and said, who are the, I'm sorry, I skipped. Here he said to them, stay here tonight and I'll bring your word, I'll bring you word again, as the Lord will speak to me. And the leaders of Moab dwelt with Balaam. So, like, if God puts it on you to speak, you'll know it. You'll know that God wants you to speak. But Balaam didn't have anything to say. So he said, just wait, hang out, I'll go pray, and I'll come back and I'll let you know what happens. Sound fair? It did to these guys. And so God came to Balaam and said, who are these men with you? Why? Why would God ask, who are these men with you? Can anybody think of another time when God said something along those lines? What? When is some other time that God said, what's going on here? All-knowing, all-powerful, all-seeing God.
Garden of Eden.
Adam and Eve, where are you? Where are you? As if God didn't know where they were.
And when he asked Cain where his brother Abel was.
Yeah. So this is another instance of God using a question to point out that he knows that you did something wrong. Have any of your parents ever done that?
No.
When they know good and well you did not take out the trash, and they ask you, have you taken out the trash yet?
No.
Yes.
Okay, so who are these men with you? And Balaam said to God, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, and he sent word to me, saying, a people went out of Egypt who covers the face of the earth. Now come, curse them for me. Perhaps I will be able to battle them and drive them out. Now, I'm going to repeat myself a couple of times. Balaam's going to repeat himself a couple of times. But I want you to pay attention, because it's very important what God says to Balaam and what Balaam says to God. It's very important. The way you talk to God is important. Okay? So, perhaps I will be able to battle them and drive them out. And God said to Balaam, you will not go with them. You will not curse the people because they are blessed. Very, very specific. You will not go with them, and you will not curse my people because they're blessed. So Balaam rose up in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, go to your land because the Lord refuses to let me go with you. Is that what God said? What did God say?
Do not go with them.
You will not go with him. The Lord refuses that I go with you. That translates. That's fine. You will not curse people because they are blessed. You will not curse these people because they're blessed. But Balaam didn't say that. Balaam went to God for a word for somebody, and Balaam got a word, and he did not relay the word. Okay? If I tell you to go tell your sister to come inside and put her shoes on, and you go outside and you just tell her to put her shoes on, you are the one who is failing. Okay? Not her. Do I need to get onto her for not coming inside? No. Okay? So the princes of Moab rose up and they went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. Again, Balak sent officials more numerous and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said, Thus says Balak, the son of Zippor. So this is round 2. Okay? Balak really wants this to happen. So he sent more honorable people. Okay? He may have sent police officers the first time, but he sends a judge the second time. Okay? Like, if we're going to translate that. So, thus says Balak the son of Zippor, Please let nothing hold you back from coming to me, because I will promote you to very great honor, and anything you say to me I will do. Come, please curse this people for me. He is not pulling punches. He is saying, I will give you lots of things, and I will make you a very powerful man. Come and do this thing. This thing. Okay? Balaam answers the servants of Balak, If Balak gave me a house full of silver and gold, I am not able to go beyond the command of the Lord my God. Even if he gave me a whole house full of gold and silver, I would still do what my God tells me. I'm being open with you. You want to pay me lots of money? I'll do it, but I'm going to tell you what God said, which we already know is not quite true, because he's already not told them what God said. Okay? So, I am not able to go beyond the command of the Lord my God to do less or more. Now please remain here tonight that I may know what more the Lord will say to me. So he goes to pray again about this thing that he's already prayed about. God's already given him word. You will not go and you will not curse my people. God was very clear. So God came to Balaam at night and said, If the men come and call you, rise up and go with them. But surely the word which I will say to you, that you will do. So now, God said, if they come to you, go.
Make the excuse.
Yeah. So God said, if you're gonna go, go. Now, has anybody's parents said that to them? If you're gonna do it anyway, are you familiar with that statement?
Yes.
Are you familiar that people will say that? Hey, kids, pay attention. Are you familiar with that sentiment of you're not gonna listen anyway, just go do it?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't see your parents doing it, but Chris, stop. Okay? But that's what God's telling him. You're going to make your own decision, aren't you? So if they come to you, go with them. But you better follow the rules. Hey, Dad, can I go to the party? Look, I know you're planning on sneaking out anyway, so you might as well go to the party. But please, you know the rules. You know the rules. Do what I told you to do. Keep the way that I've shown you. Okay? So Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his donkey. Man, he is eager. He is eager to go, isn't he? Mm-hmm. He is ready for this. What was God's will? Was anyone listening? What was God's will? That he not go. God said, you will not go, and you will not curse my people. But what have they been offering? What has Balak been offering? Silver and gold. He came knocking on the door with probably bags of money. Okay? Because Balaam is a known prophet. He's known to speak the word of God. Or Balaam. So Balaam rose up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. Now, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if what I'm speaking is going to be going off into text I don't have in front of me. Okay? It doesn't say whether or not the princes came up in the morning and knocked on the door and said, hey, Balaam, you coming? But it does say that he rose up in the morning and saddled his donkey. Okay? So God said, if they come to you, go. Now, the Bible doesn't specifically state that they came to him, but we can imagine that if Balaam said, I'm going to go and pray, that at some point the princes would have come, right? I mean, that's a logical assumption. I don't know which way it went, but it does say here, the anger of God was inflamed because he went. Now, we're going to get into something here. Okay? This is very applicable in your life. Please pay attention. So, Balaam prayed about something, got a solid, firm no, prayed about it again, and God said, well, you're going to do it anyway. And then Balaam immediately went and did it. Okay? First available opportunity, saddled up his trusty donkey and started. And the anger of the Lord was inflamed because he went, and the angel of the Lord stood in the way as an adversary against him. So God was so mad that he actually sent an angel to stop Balaam. Okay? So Balaam's riding his donkey. Now, he was riding his donkey, and the two servants were with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword was drawn in his hand. So the donkey turned out of the way and went into the field. So, what do you do when there's a big angry angel in front of you? You go around him.
Or go back.
You go back. Or you go around him. If you were told to go forward, you go forward, which a donkey's gonna... I mean, donkeys aren't particularly well known for their obedience. They're very stubborn, the donkey. So, the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing there, and he went out of his way into the field. Balaam struck the donkey to turn her onto the road. But the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path of the vineyards, a wall on this side and a wall on that side. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she threw herself onto the wall and crushed the foot of Balaam against the wall, and he struck her again. Okay, so his donkey's acting weird. Why?
Because of the angry angel?
There's a big angel with a sword standing in front of it. And as one would, you would not walk into it, right? So the donkey's only doing what God would have the donkey do, right? Is the donkey going to do something that against God?
No.
No. Donkeys cannot do things that are against God. Dogs cannot do things that are against God. Dogs can't sin. They don't understand it. Okay? But here we've got Balaam. What's Balaam doing?
He's trying to make...
Striking his donkey.
He's striking the donkey. He's hitting the donkey. Why? Because you hit a donkey and it's going to go.
Juice.
Right? So, but why? Why is he hitting the donkey?
Because it's not going.
Why isn't it going?
The donkey's acting...
Because there's an angel.
Because there's an angel in the way.
Building a wall.
Why is Balaam...
That's what that's
Hey, why is Balaam striking the donkey to go into the angel?
Well, he doesn't know if there's an angry angel.
Why doesn't he know that the angel's
You
there?
can't see it.
Why can't he see it?
Because he's disobeyed God.
Because he's disobeying God. Thank you very much, children, for answering the question. Yeah, sin. His sin. His sin is keeping him from seeing the will of God. The will of God is blatantly obvious to the donkey, right? Blatantly obvious. If you ever see an angel with a sword in front of you, know you are doing the wrong thing.
Wait, there's a floating sword?
Yes. Just come back when you're done. Okay, so here we go. The donkey crushed his leg, and the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn, either right or left. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and the anger of Balaam was inflamed, and he struck the donkey with a staff. Okay, this donkey is doing everything it can not to get in the way of this angel. Okay, I can't go forward. He's not going to let me go backwards. I'm just going to lay down. I'm going to take my beating and lay down. And then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times?" What just happened?
The donkey talked.
The donkey spoke. This is the only reference in the Bible to an animal speaking.
Other than
The snake. The snake. But that was the devil impersonating a snake there in the garden. But the Lord opened this donkey's mouth. And she said, "Why have you struck me these 3 times?" And what do you do when a donkey talks to you? You scream. You run.
Try to eat the...
Now you're really mad at the donkey. Let's be clear. You are really mad at this donkey. You argue with it, right?
Yeah.
Do you argue with animals?
No.
No.
Are you with your turtle?
Because a rational person,
I had one.
encountering a talking donkey is not going to think, well, obviously I should answer. So Balaam says, "You have mocked me. Oh, that there was a sword in my hand, I would now kill you." He is really ticked at this donkey. He is so mad that he would kill this donkey. Okay? So, is there a difference between killing and murder?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Killing somebody
Yeah?
else.
Is it murder to kill somebody who's attacking your family?
No, that would be.
I would say no. Should you kill somebody who's attacking your family?
No.
Not if you can help it. You shouldn't seek out to kill somebody just because you can.
Woohoo.
Okay? So, like, there's all kinds of stuff that we could get into there. But would it be murder for him to kill this donkey for not listening?
No.
Hmm?
No. Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
No.
What's the difference between killing and murder?
Like if you're trying to defend something.
I would say it's what's in your heart.
Yeah.
I would say it's what's in your heart. What's your intent? Why are you doing it? Is this donkey hurting him? Is this donkey attacking him? No. And it's a talking donkey. So if we're going to anthropomorphize the donkey that much, we might as well go to say that he might be murdering. He might have murderous intent. Hey kids. He might have murderous intent about this. Okay? So the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey, whom you have ridden since I became yours until today? Do I normally do this to you? Do I normally do this to you?
No.
No. What should go through your head when something out of the ordinary is happening?
It's a talking donkey. Oh my God.
Let's ignore the fact that there's a talking donkey, but let's say, who has a dog? Okay, who's here familiar with dogs? Y'all all know about dogs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who here has a friendly dog? And when somebody comes to the door, okay, maybe they bark a little bit, but as soon as they come in, as soon as the person's welcomed in, the dog is all, right? And it wants to lick the person, and it wants to climb up. Huh?
Don't you have a dog?
I do. Now, okay, you can put your hands down.
2.
Y'all just all follow along with me. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. Hey, listen. Okay. You have this dog that's friendly when somebody comes in. Well, it'll alert you when somebody's at the door, but once they're inside, as long as they know they're friendly, it's fine. What would happen? How would you think if if you were to have somebody come into the house and that dog was aggravated, that dog was agitated, that dog even maybe growled at the person?
Kick the person out and lock the door.
Kick the person out and lock the door?
Yeah.
Kill the dog and put it down.
Put the dog down? That's kind of extreme. That's kind of extreme.
What if they were to bite the dog and get the taste of blood?
Okay, hey. But hey, kids. Let's say you would feel uncomfortable. That's a much better answer than kill the dog. You would feel uncomfortable because this dog that you know and have trusted for a long time is telling you, I don't like this guy. I don't like this lady. Okay? That's important. You should listen to that. Dogs may not be smart, but they are not dumb. Okay? So this donkey has straight up laid down in the road. We're just walking along and the donkey lays down. Okay, but what's his response to it? I ought to kill you, you worthless donkey. Why?
Because it's not obeying him.
Okay, well, because it's not obeying him. But why is he feeling this way towards the donkey? Kids, this entire Bible is full of things that are extremely important. Okay? So this is a concept you should really understand. Okay?
He felt dominant to it. Selfish.
Selfish. Well, how was he selfish?
Because he was only thinking about himself and that what the donkey was
What was he? What about himself was he thinking?
He was thinking to go there and go with the people.
And do what?
Curse them.
That's what he was asked to do. He was asked to go and curse them. But what else was about that? Why was he going?
Money.
Money. He was so eager to get to work that he jumped up in the morning, saddled up his donkey, and rode off. And the donkey was so perturbed by this angel with a sword drawn that the donkey lay down, and he can't see it because his eyes are on the prize at the end of the road. Okay? So, do I normally do this to you? And he said, no. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword was drawn in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face, as you should do.
Yep.
Okay? Do not worship angels. Don't let that be confused with worship. Okay? But if there's ever a fallen if there's ever an angel in front of you, yeah. Listen. Pay attention.
Face
Okay?
at first.
And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? I have come out to oppose you because your way is perverse."
What's that?
What is perverse?
I have no idea.
Perverse means not right. Okay? Not the way that God would have it. Okay? So a perverse mind is a mind that's not acting in the way that God would have it. Okay? And the donkey saw me and turned from me these 3 times. If she had not turned from me, surely by now I would have slain you and saved her. You're going the wrong way. The donkey is paying attention. And given the opportunity, I would have killed you and saved the donkey. Okay? Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned because I did not know that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displeases you, I will return." Okay, Balaam's got a wake-up call here, right?
Wake up or else don't.
Balaam's gotten a wake-up call. And so he says, I'll turn back, just tell me to. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with these men, but only speak the word that I tell you to speak." So Balaam went with the leaders of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam had come, he went out to meet him in the city of Moab, which is on the border of Arnon, which is at the furthest end of the border. Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not earnestly send to summon you? Why did you not come to me? Indeed, am I not able to honor you?" Hey man, I had to call you twice.
Which one? The one asking for
The-
the prophet?
Yeah, the king said, why didn't you come? Okay, but he's standing right in front of him. Okay, hey, he's standing right there. You ever had your parents call you, and then you didn't go, and they call you again, and you walk up to them, and they go, "Why didn't you come when I called you?"
Yeah.
Because I was playing on the phone.
Okay? I want you to realize, kids, hey, toss me the cush ball. I want you to realize that God here is repeatedly treating Balaam like a child. Now, Balaam's a full-grown man, but yet he is under the authority of God in the way that a child is under the authority of a parent. Can I force you to do something?
No.
If you're my child, can I force you to do something? Yes, I can. Absolutely. I can. You know what would be a lot better? If I just told you what to do and you went ahead and did it anyway.
Okay.
If I said, take out the trash, and instead of going, "Why? It's not even full," you just did it.
Exactly.
I'm glad you spoke up. So, now, do your parents regularly tell you to take out a half-empty trash bag?
No.
No. So, If your parents say, take out the trash, and you go to it and it's only half full, your parents still told you to take out the trash, right? Do they normally ask you to take out a half full trash bag? The donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey who you have ridden since I became yours to this day? Do I normally do this to you? Is this normal? No? So please understand that there's something different going on. If you've never been around like 10 pounds of shrimp carcasses in a trash can, okay? You would love shrimp on day 1, but by day 2, they're not so lovely. Okay? So when you're asked to hey, this is immediately relevant to your life. Okay? So when your parent asks you to do something that seems a bit out of the ordinary, it's fine to ask why, but do it after you've done it. Okay? I will even accept my child going, I'll take out the trash. I just want to let you know it's only half full though. Hey, thank you. Maybe I wasn't aware. Maybe I wasn't aware. Now, God's always aware. Even when he says, who are these guys? He's still aware of who those guys are. Okay? And Balaam said to Balak, I have come to you now, but am I able to speak just anything? The word God puts in my mouth is what I will speak. Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kiriath Huzoth. Balak offered oxen and sheep and sent them to Balaam and the officials who were with him. Now, it came to pass on the next day that Balak took Balaam and brought him to Baal. And Baal is a god. Baal is a different god. Okay? Bamoth Baal. And there he saw the extent of the people. And Balaam said to Balak, build me 7 altars and prepare for me 7 oxen and 7 rams. Balak did as Balaam had spoken, and Balak and Balaam offered on every altar a bull and a ram. Balaam said to Balak, stand by your burnt offering, and I will go. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me, and whatever he shows me I will tell you. And he went to a high place. So, he went off. He said, prepare this for the Lord, sacrifice it to my God. Now he is in a town of another god when he's doing this. And so he goes off to a high place. And God met Balaam, and he said to him, I have prepared 7 altars and offered on every altar a bull and a ram. And the Lord put a word in the mouth of Balaam, and he said, return to Balak, and thus you will speak. So he returned to Balak, who was standing by his burnt offering with all the princes of Moab. And then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, Balak has brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the mountains in the east, saying, come curse Jacob for me. Who is Jacob?
Didn't Moses told Jacob to lead the Israelites? Or was that Joshua?
I don't remember exactly who it was. Jacob. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham had 1 child. Isaac had 2 children. Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? So, come curse Jacob for me, and come defy Israel. How will I curse whom God has not cursed? Or how will I defy whom the Lord has not defied? And for from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. There the people will dwell alone, and not be counted among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my last end be like his. Okay? He said no. I will not curse them. God has blessed them. I will not curse them. And Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you here to curse my enemies, but now you have certainly blessed them. Now, Balaam was very clear about this up front. He said, I will only say, you give me a house full of gold and silver, and I'll still just say what God said. But Balak, knowing that Balaam had accepted to come, expected what he was asking for, which was a curse. Curse them. And he answered to say, must I not take heed and speak what the Lord puts in my mouth? And Balak said to him, please come with me to another place from where you may see them. You will see a part of them, but will not see them all. Curse them for me from there. He brought them to the field of Zophim and the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Okay, so he said, wait. Oh, you just don't get it. That's it. You just can't see it right. That's obviously the problem. The problem here is not that God is telling you this or that. It's just that you don't realize what the full scope of the situation is. So let's go look. And he said to Balak, stand here by your burnt offerings while I meet with the Lord over there. And the Lord met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go again to Balak, and thus you will speak. And when he came to him, he was standing by his burnt offerings with the princes of Moab. And Balak said to him, what has the Lord spoken? Now, what happened the last time Balaam went to the God twice about the same issue? What happened? What happened last time? The first time God told him, you will not go and you will not curse my people. But what happened the second time?
It's hard. I've done so much today.
Anybody? Anybody paid attention at all?
I've been paying attention. I just can't think.
God didn't use the same words. God said, well, let me...
5 pages.
The first time God said, you will not go. And then the second time...
Police. Police.
If the men come to call you, rise up and go with them. So the first time he said, do not go. And the second time he said, if they come, go with them. God kind of changed. He knew what was in Balaam's heart. Balaam wanted to go. Okay? So here Balaam is coming to him a second time. Obviously, Balaam's already gotten paid once for this job. Okay? So he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, you son of Zippor. God is not a man, and that he should lie, nor a son of man that he should repent. Has he spoken, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not make it good? See, I have received a commandment to bless, and he has blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He has not beheld iniquity in Jacob, nor has he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God, who brings them out of Egypt, has strength like a wild ox. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, nor is there any divination against Israel. For this time it will be said of Jacob and Israel, see what God has done. A people rise up as a great lion and lifts itself up like a lion. It shall not lie down until it eats its prey and drinks the blood of the slain. Okay, he's talking about Israel here, and he's saying, no, they're not cursed, they are blessed, and no enchantment or divination is going to change that. And they will stand like a lion. If you've ever heard the phrase, the Lion of Judah, okay, that would be Jesus. Jesus is the Lion of Judah. And he will stand, a lion will stand, and I challenge any one of you to make a lion cower. You do not have it in you to make a lion cower, but when it lowers its head, it's going to be to eat you.
Eat your head.
Okay? And that's what he said. That's what he came to say. And Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all, nor bless them. Okay, so do not curse them at all, nor bless them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop. Stop what you're doing. Don't keep blessing them. Okay? I get you're not going to curse them, but stop blessing them, please. Okay? But Balaam answered and said to Balak, did I not tell you, saying all that the Lord speaks to me, I must do? And Balak said to Balaam, please come, and I will bring you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them from there. As if looking at it again is going to make God change his mind about loving his people. Okay? So, Balaam said to Balak, build me 7 altars and prepare for me 7 bulls and 7 rams. Balak did as Balaam said and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. And when Balaam saw that it had pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he did not go as the other times to seek for enchantments. Hey kids, listen. Listen. So he's already done this twice, right? Twice now we've experienced the same thing, where Balak has asked Balaam, and they offered 7 bulls and 7 rams on 7 altars, and Balaam goes off to pray and comes back with a word of blessing for Israel. That's what's happened twice now. So this time goes a little different. And when Balaam saw that it pleased God, the Lord God, to bless Israel, he did not go as the other times to seek enchantments, but he set his face towards the wilderness. So he didn't even go up the hill this time. Okay, he didn't even go off to pray. He just turned towards the wilderness, and he was like, I know God already wants to bless Israel. So Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw the Israel dwelling in their tents by their tribes, and the Spirit of God came on him. And he took up his proverb and said, Balaam the son of Beor has said, and the man whose eyes are opened has said, he has said, who heard the words of God, who saw the vision of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, and your tabernacles, O Israel. Like palm trees they are spread out, like gardens by the river's side, like the aloe plant which the Lord has planted, and the cedar trees beside the waters. He will pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed will be many in the water. His king will be higher than Agag, and his kingdom will be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt. He has the horns of a wild ox. He will eat up the nations, his enemies, and he will break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. His crouches he lies down as a lion, and as a lion who will stir him up. Blessed is he who blesses you, and cursed is he who curses you. So he's gone a little bit of a different way with it and said, anybody who curses you, Israel, is cursed themselves. And anyone who blesses you, Israel, is blessed themselves. And the anger of Balak was inflamed against Balaam, and he struck his hands together, and Balak said to Balaam, I called you to curse my enemies, and indeed you have certainly blessed them these 3 times. Now flee to your own place. I thought that to promote you to great honor, but certainly the Lord has kept you back from honor. Balaam said to Balak, did I not speak to your messengers who sent me, saying, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the mouth of the Lord? Do I either good or bad of my own mind, but that which the Lord speaks, I will speak. Okay? Hey.
Hello.
I was just curious. If Pastor Kelly was in here reading out of the Bible, would y'all be talking and whispering amongst yourself?
No, probably.
Okay. Well, that says something. Have you ever read this part of the Bible? Have any of y'all read the book of Numbers?
No.
Yeah. So some of you have. Most of you haven't. So can you please stop doing that? Thank you. So this is not a story you're going to read in your My First Bible children's storybook. Okay? If you want something interesting, go look in your My First Children's Bible storybook and look up the crucifixion of Jesus. And see how different. Hey, can y'all be quiet, please? Okay. Look at the difference between the crucifixion story in an actual adult Bible and the children's Bible. And see how much is missing. Okay? I bet you a lot of the blood is not going to be there. I bet you they're not going to paint a whole lot of blood in the storybook picture of the Bible, of the children's Bible. Okay? So, I want y'all to listen to this because it's an important story. Because it's got some important principles that you're going to experience on a regular basis when you have something happen to you and you go to God praying about it, and then it happens again and you pray about it, and it happens again and you pray about it. That's what's happening to this guy. Okay? What are your motivations? What does God want from you? What does God expect from you? Do you know what God wants? Okay? And now I am going to my people. Come, and I will advise you what this people will do to your people in the latter days. And he took up his parable, and he said, the oracle of Balaam the son of Beor, and the oracle of the man whose eyes are open, the oracle of the one hearing the words of God, and knowing the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. I will see him, but not now. I will behold him, but not near. A star will come out of Jacob, and a scepter will rise out of Israel. That's talking about Jesus.
Yep.
A star will rise out of Jacob, and a scepter will rise up. A scepter is, anybody know what a scepter is?
No. It's a staff.
Kind of a staff. What's a scepter? No, behind you, the one with her hand up.
Staff.
No, it's kind of a staff.
A scepter is a long stick with usually encrusted with a jewel on top, used for ceremonial purposes.
It is the weapon of a king. A scepter is a weapon of a king. The one who holds the scepter is the one who rules. It is that simple. Okay? So, yeah, it's usually represented as a short stick. Okay? Not a full-blown staff, but a short stick. It's usually extremely ornate, but it doesn't have to be. It can be as simple as an iron rod, but if it's deemed to be the scepter of the king, it is the weapon of a king. So, the scepter will rise out of Israel and will crush the borderlands of Moab and destroy all the children of Sheth. Edom will be a possession and Shinar a possession of its enemies. While Israel does valiantly, one out of Jacob shall have dominion and destroy the survivors of the city. Then he looked at Amalek, and he took up his proverb and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but its end will be... Y'all are being distracting. You're being distracting to me, and you're being distracting to others. If that's how it's going to be, I'm going to ask you to leave. Strong is your dwelling place, and put your nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenite will be wasted. How long until Asher carries you away captive? And he took up his proverb and said, Alas, who will live when God does? And ships will come to the coast of Cyprus, and will affect Asher, and will affect Eber, and also perish forever. So he's basically said, these three places here, they're toast. They're done. They're not going to survive. They'll last for a little bit, but they're not long term. You're standing against the wrong kingdom. Okay? And then it says Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak went away also. So they're done. They part ways. While Israel dwelt in Shittim, the people began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab, and they called the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself to Baal of Peor, and the anger of the Lord was inflamed against Israel. Now, this is an odd turn of events. Now, Israel worships who? God. Jehovah, right? Jehovah. God. Our God. Okay?
What is so funny?
So,
I'm not laughing.
but here they are, mixing in with the women of Moab. Okay? It actually says they began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab. Okay? So they began to practice sexual immoralities with these people. And they did not stay pure to their own God the way that they should. And they started giving sacrifices to other gods. What is an idol?
It's something that you worship except for God.
It's something you worship except for God. So can you give me an example of something that might be an idol?
That statue that Chinese people worship. That statue.
Buddha?
Yeah.
Buddha can be an idol. Yeah? What else can be an idol?
Oh, Xbox.
Xbox can be an idol. What else can be an idol? Money can be an idol. Thank you. Thank you. We have just covered the three main sources of idols. Thank you very much for being so succinct in that. Other gods, which Buddha is not a god, but it's the same thing. Other gods, entertainment, and money. Whew. Can your job be an idol?
Yes.
If you're skipping church to go get some overtime at work, oh, gosh, that doesn't sound right. So they began to sacrifice and bow down to the other gods. Why? Why? Did I give you any indication of what happened?
No.
Other than that things happened? No. Why not? It's not over here. It's not in here. We're going to flip over here.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, we're going all the way to the end, buddy.
The end? Oh no.
Okay, here we go. Listen. Notice anything about this page?
It's all red.
It's all in red. Now, this is Jesus. Listen, this is Jesus in the 2nd chapter of Revelation. And he's talking to the church of Pergamum. Okay? So, hey, do y'all remember when we went through Revelation?
I did.
Cool.
Yes.
Jesus gave 7 letters to 7 churches. If Jesus were to mail you a letter, how importantly would you hold that letter?
Very.
Very. Okay? So these are some of Jesus' words to this church. But I have a few things against you. You have there those who hold the teachings of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel. Listen. To eat things sacrificed to idols and to commit sexual immorality. So you also have those held in teachings of the Nicolaitans. Repent, or else I will quickly come to you and will war against them with the sword of my mouth. Now Jesus said, you have there who hold the teachings of Balaam, who we've just talked about. We've just gone over the story of Balaam. Kids, pay attention. We've just gone over the story of Balaam. And here Jesus is saying, you're holding on to his teachings. Who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols, and to commit sexual immorality. So here Jesus, now Balaam, it didn't say that back here. It didn't say that back here in Numbers. That Balaam was the one who told the king, go down into their camp, send your women into their camp, seduce the men of their camp. Okay, I can't curse Israel for you, because it's God's curse, not mine. But I can tell you their weakness. Get them to sin. Get them to sin.
Yep.
Get them to go and eat meat sacrificed to other gods. That's a sin for them. But meat's good, they'll eat it. They're just people. Okay? Send your women down there. And send your altars, send your idols. Raise up some Asher poles. You'll have them. You'll take them. Okay? So, Balaam knew that he wasn't supposed to go. Balaam knew that he wasn't supposed to go. God told him, you will not go.
But he still went.
You will not go, and I will not curse the people whom I have blessed. And Balaam went and said, I'm not going to go. And he didn't tell the whole story. Even though that's what he told about himself several times. Several times he said, I'm not going to say any more. I'm not going to say any less than what God has told me to say to you. But he started off from there. If God gives you something, it is your responsibility. It is your duty. You are bound to do it. If you want to call yourself a Christian, hey y'all, stop. Y'all are both, hey, I don't care what anybody else does. I don't care what anybody else does. You are entirely responsible for your own actions. I don't care if somebody hits you with a stick. If you hit them back, you hit somebody. You can make choices. Okay? So, okay? You're bound to do what God wants you to do. You're supposed to. Okay? And if you don't, there will be consequences. Okay? Balaam wanted the money. And the king rightly thought that Balaam was just holding out for more money. Obviously, he was right, because he did. He waited. He had him send back a second group of people with more money, and Balaam said, even if you gave me a house full of gold and silver, I wouldn't lie. So he went for a house full of silver, I would imagine. It's not explicit that he got a house full of silver and gold, but I imagine that's pretty much what he was getting offered. That's a lot of money if you don't know. Okay? So, you need to have several things. You need to know what's right and wrong. You need to know what God expects out of you. You need to know how to talk to God. Okay? Balaam actually said, okay, that's what you're telling me. Let me go talk to God about it. Okay? So if somebody presents you with a problem that's too big for you, but nevertheless it's yours to take care of, it's okay to say, hang on, I need to pray about this. Hey, well, I really think we ought to put our kid in this school over here. What?
Are there a bunch of hyenas in there?
Yes, generally, yeah. So,
You call it human children.
hey, so your spouse comes up to you and says, hey, I think we ought to put our kid in this school over here. And you're like, ooh, that's a big one. I don't know about that school. There's reasons, for whatever reasons, I'm not sure about that school. Let me go off and pray about it. I don't have to give you an answer right now. I serve my God before I serve you. Okay? I am supposed to treat my wife the way that Christ treats me. Mercy, grace, sacrifice, long patience, long patience.
Sorry.
No. Church over?
Yeah.
Cool. So, all right, kids, I hope you got something.